Thank you, Mrs. Chair. I have two comments. One is on the presentation of Robin Gourlay. We discussed that yesterday, and the experience of the government of Scotland is clearly very important. It is very important that people are aware of it, and meeting like yours, like this, is useful. But in my experience working in the UN, people who do excellent projects concentrate on their projects and have no time to waste to discuss with people that they consider is less competent on the topic. So what is really important, he also mentioned in his presentation the fact that you need to be responsible. And I think governments or other institutions that really do an excellent work and have been doing for a long time should be held accountable to share that information and not consider it's a waste of money and a waste of time to go and share it. If we want to build Europe, I'm afraid now Scotland is out, so it's a bit of a problem, but we really need to have that as a condition. My second point would be a reaction to Magali's presentation. She did explain the issue of the cost of having proper meals at school. But if we do proper meals at school, it has an impact on a variety of sectors, on the environment, on a variety of issues, which means if we're starting to think at territorial level, we shouldn't say this is more expensive for Ministry of Education. We should say it's really essential for the development of our territory, and we should therefore be able to access some of the resources of the other sectors, but at least be able to say, we are going to subsidize this. And it's not only to feed the children, but it's also important for other issues. So I think it's really important we keep that when we do our economic calculations. Thank you.
Thanks. The presentations were all really inspiring, and I work here in Hungary, and I would love to see us having this type of information more often. But to be honest, and this is where I've got a question for you, it seems that a lot of our debates around school catering are really centred on the fact that there seems to be a lot of suspicion of cartels and corruption in the background to these really, really lucrative procurement processes. I just wondered if in any of the stories that you have here about how you're all managing to achieve a lot in making public catering sustainable, has there been any obstacles or constraints like this? I think, again, I've got that a little bit from the Italian presentation, that there might be something there. And just really, I'd be interested to know, and how did you manage to overcome these?
So I hope nobody in my presentation thought that I was pretending that Scotland is something special. That certainly wasn't my intention. I think Scotland would welcome the opportunity to share that experience more internationally, which has been going on since about 2003, thereabouts. But please don't anyone think that I was saying Scotland is something special. I was simply, as a matter of fact, explaining what has taken place in Scotland since 2003.
According to what you said, I must tell the truth that I have a lot of friends, but also a lot of enemy, unfortunately. Once I was speaking in, like here in public space, and I realized that the person, at a certain point when I was talking, went out of the room. He felt a bit angry with me because I was talking about dead food in a strong way, because when I talk about the food that is prepared at 8 o'clock in the morning and served at 1 o'clock at lunchtime had lost a lot of power of nutrient, but it's not me who tell it, it's the science, those who has analyzed the food and found out that there are no more nutrients. And so I talk about objective data. I'm talk about scientific data, so it's not Claudia Partonieri who talks about it. So I receive sometimes very nasty email from angry municipality. First time, for example, I published the ranking, the municipality of Milan sent me a very bad email asking me not to publish the Milan in the position of the ranking, and I did it, I didn't publish it. But then all the journalists talk about the fact that Milan was not there. And so I had to explain why, and so it was worse for them not to be there than being there with a bad mark. So it is something that works because it works on reputation. And obviously, those who work very well and are transparent because they are proud of what they do, they are top. Those who don't like to talk about what they do and they publish menu with no information on it, are not very happy that somebody like Food Insider go there and talk about it and publish what they do. But it's a way to make aware parents, to ask municipality to change, to give more information, to push for a better diet. And it works. And it works, and there are also some other countries that are thinking about doing the same, and I would be pleased that other countries would do the same, because it's a simple way to give information, and then people, if they are part of the municipality, maybe try to change and make better job. And parents try to understand what is a good diet and how they can change and push the change of their diets at school. I hope I have answered.
Volevo sempre in relazione a quello che dice Claudia, in Italia la corruzione sui grandi appalti c'è, e questi sono grandi appalti.
So he's saying that corruption is an issue on big tendering processes and public tendering processes.
There is translation on Channel 3 now, in Hungarian.
Dalla mia esperienza posso dire che gli appalti di ristorazione scolastica, essendo molto legati, come dicevo prima, all'utente, cioè portando molti voti ai politici, spesso sono meno attenzionati di altri.
Aspetta un attimo, rivedi questo concetto perché c'è la traduzione, se lo vuoi ridire un attimo.
Allora, volevo dire che gli appalti di ristorazione scolastica forse sono meno attenzionati di altri, dalla malavita o dalla corruzione, perché i politici coltivano la loro base elettorale molto su questi, sugli utenti.
So basically it's trying to say that the tendering process for school feeding have less attention compared to other sectors. Because this is an important base for votes for politicians, the schools.
Io ho visto cadere giunte importanti, la giunta Giubilo a Roma negli anni 90, inizio anni 90, perché nelle scuole si mangiava male.
So there were some municipalities who basically had lost their consensus because in the schools people were complained with bad food, they were eating badly.
La situazione è molto più difficile per quello che riguarda la ristorazione ospedaliera,
The situation is more difficult for the canteens in the hospitals.
E soprattutto la ristorazione per gli anziani. Gli anziani è un grosso business adesso in Italia perché siamo un popolo di vecchi, siamo diventati.
And also the same situation is for the care centers for old people. So now in Italy, these centers have become a big business because the age of population is very high.
E in questi settori la corruzione è veramente presente, molto presente, sugli anziani soprattutto.
And in those sectors, corruption is even worse. So for hospitals and center cares for old people.
The last question is Enrico's, and then we will close the floor.
Yes, thanks. Families are usually one of the pillars of the school, and the relationship between the school system and the families is quite important for the implementation of the school activities. So I'm wondering if there has been ever any survey to understand the feedbacks from the families, and if there has ever been any kind of trainings to increase the awareness of the families on the importance of the organic and local foods in the school canteens.
Family are fundamental. You can find a good menu, and when you look what there is behind the menu, you find that there is a great participation of families. But this depends on the culture of the area. For example, Perugia, the parents were managing the school canteen till the 2015. Then the municipality decided to externalize the service. And then there was the revolution of the family, who fought a lot to be again part of the process of decision. And so they had a very strong legal battle. And at the end, the mayor decided to involve again the families in the process of decision. And after they were included in this process, the organic food reached the 90% of the amount of the whole food. And they are involved in deciding who are the supplier, and they agree in having local supplier. But this is a question of culture. They are not instrument to inform or involve families. This is sometimes. I was talking to Paolo at the end of our ranking, our analysis, and I wanted to understand what was the main aspect that could push the quality. And he told me, and I agree, that what makes the difference is the culture of the population. And he said, in our region, in Marche, if our kids were eating like you eat in Milan, that would be the revolution. Because in Milan, we are quite accustomed to processed food. So we have finger fish, pizza, lasagna. So you don't need a cook, a well-trained cook. But in the Regione Marche, where education was introduced since 1997 with when the region introduced organic food in the school canteen, so organic food and education in the school. That has shaped the culture of kids and then a family. So what is very important is to introduce a regulation that introduces good food and education. The two things must be linked. And that shapes the culture of the citizen. And that can make the difference. I hope I have answered.
Okay, that was the last request for a very, very last short, and you have only 1 minute, and then we have to go to 8.
Donc bonjour, ça sera en français. La situation, quand j'entends parler de corruption, de business, enfin vous le savez tous, je vais défoncer des portes ouvertes, mais le résultat que nous vivons est dû à ce que l'alimentation est le pur produit dans ce système capitaliste dans lequel nous vivons, qui a transformé toute l'alimentation en business. Quand j'entends que 80%, si j'ai bien compris, 80% des poissons consommés en Italie viennent d'Asie, ou si je ne crois pas me tromper non plus, quand à Lyon, dans la région lyonnaise, que 90% de la production de cette région est exportée. En revanche, au niveau de la nourriture, c'est 90% qui est importé. Je crois que c'est une table ronde politique. On a déjà, à travers d'autres conférences, d'autres lieux, et je me souviens d'un élu local qui disait, il y avait quelques témoins qui sont là, qui disait qu'aujourd'hui, arrêtons d'utiliser toute notre énergie pour contourner la législation. Une des premières choses à faire serait il y a de nombreux lobbies au niveau, d'immenses lobbies au niveau européen, c'est d'essayer, dans un premier temps, ou enfin, de changer la législation européenne. Et je crois que beaucoup de nos efforts doivent converger dans ce sens. Un dernier commentaire, on aura l'occasion d'en reparler, je pense, sur ces 2 journées. Vous savez tous que la future politique agricole commune est en pleine négociation en ce moment. Il y a beaucoup de tendances, et certains pays, ou en tout cas ou certains lobbies, qui voudraient avoir tendance à renationaliser, ce qu'on appelle renationaliser la politique agricole commune. On a déjà aujourd'hui, à l'heure actuelle, beaucoup de corruption dans le système actuel. Vous pouvez imaginer très facilement que si la politique agricole commune est, entre guillemets, renationalisée, ça va être la porte ouverte à encore plus de corruption. Enfin voilà, je voulais juste faire ces petits commentaires qui peuvent paraître d'une évidence, et ce qui ne veut pas dire que tout ce que vous faites à un niveau local et au niveau des élus locaux et des producteurs locaux et des familles ne doit pas être fait, bien entendu. Mais nous devons, je crois, tous unir, on a parlé d'information, et unir nos forces pour faire changer ces choses au niveau européen. Merci.